You're tuning in to Past Our Prime, a show powered by Squad Locker.
Let's be great. Let's be great.
Here are your hosts, retired Astros minor league star Tip Fairchild and former Patriots All-Pro center Dan Copen.
Go rock this thing, huh? Love you, man. Let's go get it.
Look at you all laid back today for episode 62, powered by Squad Locker. And if you were watching on YouTube, there's something definitely different about you. Different about you right now.
You know, I grew beard for a little bit. I usually grow beard around this time of year. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to carve in a mustache today. Little did I know today was going to just come off the rails entirely on me. I got people coming at me left and right. Powered by Squad Locker, right?
I did.
That's what we did.
Yep,
So
yep.
we got 3 verticals.
Way to pay attention.
Anybody out there listening that could help right now, you know, if you have a team, if you have a youth sports team, a high school, corporation, I'd love to have you talk to some of our salespeople about some stuff. Trying to build a little outbound strategy going right now. It's tough.
You're going hand-to-hand combat?
We're in the mud right now.
Which is where
you hear people
you like
say
to
that.
be in the mud.
I like to be in the mud. I didn't expect to have a mustache during the mud time, but I am in the mud right now.
And HR just came in and brought you into a meeting probably over your mustache.
It wasn't over the mustache, but yeah, I mean, this is going to be one of those weeks. I think
Well,
we're going to be
over under on number of days that stays above your lips.
My guess is it's gone before this. Before this,
I'm putting the over under at 2 because
my guess is this is gone before this episode airs.
Yeah, this is in no way a shot at you. This is in no way a shot at you.
Okay.
But your significant other does not know about this yet. And for everybody that's married at home, sometimes you don't have full authority to do some things.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you get home,
Want to hear it? You think so?
I don't think you're going to hear it. I think it's just basically going to be said, just go upstairs and shave. I mean,
look at like the teeth like are gleaming in this. Max, like you got to take a picture of this, put it on Instagram. Like the teeth are going. It's really Tom Selleck-esque. By the way, we're talking about a mustache for if people who aren't watching on YouTube.
I think
Did we say that?
I think if I said you have something weird above your lips,
Okay,
that's
that's what it is.
It describes it.
By the way,
and it brings me back to the days when Matt Light would be sitting in training camp doing random shit during the meeting. Mustache Man. And I couldn't even grow a mustache back then. So
you're gonna have to put that in, Max. The Mustache Man clip,
Burgundy
from Matt Light,
Burgundy, Tom Selleck.
I think I've heard a couple,
Raleigh Fingers.
I've heard a couple Tom Selleck references already. I've heard some Tom Selleck references. I also heard the Cable Guy reference when he beats Owen Wilson up in the bathroom.
Yeah.
This should be one take. That's it. Now listen up, friends. Got a story to tell about a group of men who knew how to live well. They formed a team and they made a pact. We're big old boys that wear a mustache. Mustache! My God! My God! My God!
That's delirious.
Okay. Snap out of it!
And he goes like, "Skibbity boop, I'm Dizzy Gillespie."
Yeah, but those guys don't have the jowls that you have right now.
Are there jowls?
There's
I was
jowls.
thinking the jowls weren't too bad today.
Well, let's get a side view.
No, let's not. Let's just go like this.
All right.
Well, my skin's so smooth.
All right. So over under 2 days, probably less than 24 hours. That gets shaved.
Unfortunately, because I really do like this. I think
it looks good.
My dad had a mustache for a while.
I think my dad too.
Right?
Too,
that was a thing, I'm sure. Yeah. Maybe I'm bringing it back. Well, it's already back. I'm not.
It's about to go away. We have Jesse Winter. He is the CEO of Level Up Basketball in Long Island. And we are going to talk to him about his program in a little bit. He's also the all-time leading scorer at SUNY Cortland.
Oh, is that an accurate thing? We got a stat sheet here from Max. Is that true?
Max is on it, and I did that in my research as well. Let's just start it off with a trivia question for you.
Okay.
What distinguished friend of the show is also from SUNY Cortland?
Distinguished friend of the show from SUNY Cortland. A guest?
A guest.
I have no idea.
Mr. Nathan Lehman.
Oh, did he go to SUNY
He went to
Cortland?
SUNY Cortland.
Is that where he played hockey?
Correct.
Is that a good hockey team up there? I think they are.
I think they're okay.
Okay, all right. So we got.
I guess I should have known that. I didn't know you were going to ask that back to me.
Sometimes the best coaches weren't the best players.
Well, we're talking to another Cortland
So-
grad coach.
All right, we have that.
The mustache.
They're part of the 3-step alignment you guys have heard with some things. So there's a lot going on with that. A lot of these basketball programs. I didn't realize basketball has 37 million participants. It's the biggest youth sport that's out there. It's big.
I played. You played.
Yeah.
I love it from the fact that you can just lace up your sneakers and go onto a court and play. Especially when they're little, you don't have to worry about
I'm
putting
terrified to
gear
do that
on
now,
or
but-
lacing up skates. That's a pain in the ass.
The I had a basketball weekend. I did a takeover on the Instagram. My alma mater played in the Maine high school basketball tournament, which is the number one thing that you can possibly go to up in the state of Maine. All time, pretty much. Like, you go there, you start at 9 o'clock in the morning, you don't leave until midnight, you have a whole bunch of curly fries, you have a snow cone, maybe cotton candy, and you just sit there and watch basketball. My alma mater played in this Class C South.
Alma mater or alma mater?
Alma mater.
Was there a little
alma
accent in
mater.
alma mater?
Alma mater.
Alma
By the way,
mater.
spell that one.
Alma mater? I don't even know what you just said.
Alma mater.
ALMA
Yep.
MATAR.
There's a space, but yeah.
Holy shit. Now we're talking about fucking spaces?
Yeah, alma mater. So mine played, they lost. Couldn't believe it. They were beating them down too. They couldn't break a half-court trap in the second half, which was tough. Then I went to the Rocky Hill game. Rocky Hill is where our kids go. It's big time. They put a beat down on some teams. They're good. Then I went to the PC game.
A lot of basketball for you this weekend.
Oh, that was all in one day.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Was it on the weekend?
It was on the weekend.
So if the weekend's 2 days, there was still a lot of basketball
I
for
will
you.
tell you, the PC crowd was absolutely ruckus on Saturday. The kids like
senior night.
What do you call it? It was senior night, but it was also St. Patty's Day. Because they're gone on break for that, so they celebrate like St. Patty's Day. They're all wearing green. I mean, they probably were drinking since 10 a.m. The game was at 8:30. They killed Creighton.
Yeah.
They won the Big East.
First time. That's hard to believe.
Regular season champ.
Regular season, but first time that they won the regular season championship. Congrats.
They're ranked number 8, I think, right now. I mean, we're in for a run right now, which is going to be great. They play Villanova tonight, though, so we'll see what happens. But I had a full day of basketball, and now we have a basketball guest, so it's like perfect.
It's perfect.
Right?
And Max set up something.
I just came in here.
I was trying to we're thinking about what to do, and we're in that.
Okay, let's go.
We're in that space right now where there's no football and there's nothing. Like, it's right before Masters.
This is a tough time.
It's a tough time.
Very
right
tough
now.
time. What you have coming this next weekend is when you have conference championships, which are fun to watch in basketball.
That's fun.
Like Big East, you know, you have it. So then it ramps up because then you roll into March Madness, and then you have Masters, and you go. But yeah, these last 2 weeks.
February
are tricky.
sucks.
Yeah, these last 2 weeks are tricky.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
So what do we have?
Max,
Max, what do we have going?
Tip's favorite apres-ski
Yes. I haven't read the subjects yet.
activity is Jeopardy.
Are you going to put this up on the? Are you going to?
Oh boy, I think we're gonna get banned.
Yeah, that's a YouTube banning right there.
8 seconds or less, baby.
Okay, all right, good. Okay. Did you put the buzzer on there? Oh, that's probably a banned thing too.
Probably.
We'll find out.
Let's go. What are we doing? So
Well,
you have this on the board?
You've got your board up here. You gotta.
Okay.
We got 16 questions to get through.
Don't forget, you have to answer like Jeopardy.
Suck it, Trebek. Isn't that a thing that they say on SNL? Okay, so am I first?
You know what? You got the mustache. Go for
You
it.
have to answer like Jeopardy. Okay. Where in the world is Tip and Dan for 100?
So
I have the questions here.
correct. I get that, but we don't have buzzers. Is it put our hand up?
I think it's at that turn, and you can steal. That's the only difference.
Oh,
No
okay.
buzzers.
Well, that's not bad.
Let's
okay.
do
So
it that
it's
way.
Tip's turn. He
Okay.
just chose
Where in the world is Tip and Dan for 100,
100.
please, Max?
All right. Tip.
Mm-hmm.
What is the largest continent in the world?
Asia. Thank you. What is Asia?
Oh, yeah, you know what?
What is
is
Asia?
it?
I got it. I got it.
give it to you.
Give me one.
I'm
Give me
not
one.
even gonna. I'm not. You're fine.
Okay.
What? I actually think is Antarctica still a continent?
It is. It's not bigger though.
You're so sure about that just because
I am. Okay.
Dan.
Let's go with spelling bee for 100.
All right. All right. So
Just get these out of the
these
way.
are these are all leveled. So 100 spelling bee 100 is 5th grade level.
Okay.
Your word is thoughtful.
Thoughtful. THOU. What, or do I have to say what is or how? I mean, I didn't even.
Yeah.
right,
Well,
we can
normally
just
they
go
don't
with that,
spell.
yeah.
You can just spell it. Go ahead.
THOUGHTFUL. Thoughtful.
That's right. Good. Okay. Spelling bee for 200, please.
Now we're getting there. Now we're going up.
So Tip, your question is spell 6th grade encyclopedia.
I got this. ENCLOY. Oh shit! What did I say? ENCY.
Oh, don't I get the steal?
I don't know. I don't
That
think
Okay.
is- no,
no,
that-
he's minus 200 on that, so he's only 100 now, right? You get
I don't
No,
Jeopardy
minus
takes
100. I'd be minus 100.
minus
because
100, but you're minus 2, right?
This is going to be tough for.
Oh.
No, I had 100 already.
Correct. 2 minus 1, or 1 minus 2 is negative 1.
negative
I'm
one.
tracking it.
Okay, we're good.
Yep.
I forgot. That's how Jeopardy's
So
played.
I'm not sure if that was me not knowing how to spell encyclopedia or just like some form of like dyslexia. Because I had that.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Let's stay away from there. Sports you have no business playing for 100.
All right, Dan.
I like this.
The caber toss is the highest is the highlight of which collection of sporting events in Scotland?
The caber toss is the what is the what do you call those, the Highlands Games or something?
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah, we'll give it to you.
Oh, yes! Unbelievable. That was right. God damn, this guy's good at trivia. All right, come on. Come on, Max.
Go ahead. Choose your category.
Okay. Sports you have no business playing for 2, please.
Ooh, if that was number 1,
Yeah, I got
can't
this.
even imagine
I got
what
this.
2 is.
I
Yeah,
got this.
A mix
you might have to
between-
look it up on the encyclopedia.
Hang on, let him rattle off the question.
A mix between badminton and volleyball, the sport of pateka is a traditionally indigenous sport played by batting a shuttlecock over a net with your hand.
Yep.
What South American country can you find this game played along the beach at?
South American country. South American country. What is Venezuela?
The
You know
correct
the
answer was
answer.
Brazil.
I have no idea.
All right.
I would have
Damn
said
it.
Brazil, though.
I think Venezuela.
Is that another 200?
Mine's
Yeah, okay.
yeah, I did
Let's
say
go
that. Shit.
reading. What's that for 100?
Great clue. Great topic, Max.
All right, Dan, your question. In what language was Don Quixote originally written?
Spanish.
Oh my God, that's all right.
Beginning round 4.
I'm bad at this. Okay, what is it?
Beginning of round 4. Go ahead.
Sports you have no business playing for 4, please.
Oh, Jesus.
I can't even pronounce this
Catch
one.
up.
CPAC takraw, a sport popular in the Southeast Asia, is popular. Oh, is similar to the sport of volleyball, except for what difference? I'll repeat that
think I know
question.
it.
It was a little loose.
Okay.
The sport of CPAC takraw is similar to the sport of volleyball, except for what difference?
Okay. What is there is no net?
What is you can't use your hands?
It's exactly.
What? No.
I don't know if I answered that properly, but you can't use your hands.
All right, come on.
All right, Dan.
You're up.
Can I go?
What am I down?
Can I go reading? What's that for 200?
What am I down?
I don't. I'll give you the sum after.
You're a lot. He probably did an Excel spreadsheet for this
it
shit.
is.
Keep going.
Reading for what?
200.
Reading for 200. Who is Harry Potter's best female friend?
Oh God, that is my daughter's gonna kill me right now. That is. I always say her name wrongly too.
That's not it.
No, I know that. Starts with an.
I'm going to need you to repeat the question, by the way.
Harry Potter's best friend's name. The female best friend in Harry Potter.
Hermione. Hermione.
I won't give you the negative points.
Hermione.
But you took 30 seconds to answer, and it's Hermione.
Hermione.
Yeah. Nah, you didn't get that right.
You
said it wrong. What is Hermione?
I disagree.
I won't take the steal either, but
You can't take the steal. That's not how it's.
I know,
that's not how it's played.
But you did not get that even close to
Hermione.
right. So that's a negative 200. Okay. Reading. What's that for 3, please?
All right.
Oh God, yes.
In Curious George, who is the monkey's companion? You don't have to raise your hand.
Who is the man with the yellow hat?
All right, and that was 300 for you?
That was big for me.
Still
Good. That question was way easier than the other one.
Where in the world is Tip and Dan for 200?
All right.
Isn't it where in the world are Tip and Dan?
Where in the world is Tip and Dan? That may be true, actually.
I had the same question when I was writing it out.
All right. Go ahead.
For 200, on August 1st, 1959, this territory became a U.S. state.
August 1st, 1959. Let's just go with.
Is it your turn?
Is it my turn?
Dan.
It's your
Dan.
turn. Yeah.
What is Hawaii?
Yeah. I knew that one.
Well, it was one of two.
Well, no, it could have been Puerto Rico.
That's not really a state.
It's not a state still.
Still not a state.
Yeah, they call it a state.
And this guy and his mustache. All right.
Okay. What is no sports you have no business playing for 3, please?
All right. The female version of this centuries-old Gaelic sport is called camogie. What is the male version called? It's a Gaelic sport.
Gaelic sport. What is?
It's similar to field hockey.
Oh, come on. How many clues do you want to give him?
Poor guy's limping around.
It's. What is the male version? You said. What is Quidditch? It's not field hockey.
No, it's hurling.
Oh,
Oh, that's not.
hurling or curling? Hurling or curling?
Hurling.
Oh, okay.
Where am I at? What's the score?
He doesn't know
That
yet.
hurt.
Can I get spelling for 300, please?
Spelling for 300? Yep.
Can I steal on this one if he doesn't get it?
No, you can't.
No, because you won't get it.
Okay.
Your 7th grade word
Shit.
is claustrophobic.
Oh, God.
That's not that hard.
Yeah, okay. CLAUSTROPHOBIC. Claustrophobic.
Yeah, you got it. You had that.
I think I just put this thing away, too, by the way.
Well, we'll see. What was that? Spelling bee for 3?
Yeah.
Spelling bee for 4, please.
All right.
Oh, this is going to be hard.
Your word is miscellaneous.
Okay. What is?
Okay.
MISCEL. Damn it. Is it AL? It's AL. Fucking AL. God, nothing's going my way today.
All right. That just ended it, I think. Let's go
Dan's the last one here.
Reading.
What's that for 400?
All right.
No, there's one more after this.
Yeah, but you've already lost.
you need the
but I'll
daily
bet it
double
all.
tip to get out of here.
No, I'll bet it all.
All right. He wrote this line, ignorance is bliss. Oh, sorry. Who wrote this line? Ignorance is bliss. It is folly to be wise.
Who is Edgar Allan Poe?
That's what I was going to say. That might have hurt you.
It did. But you've
Okay,
been hurt.
cross
You've
out the
been hurt.
spelling bee 400. No, because what if you miss this next one? Well, it's my question.
It's your question.
All right. Cross out the spelling bee one. This is the last question, right?
Yep.
Okay. Where in the world is Tip and Dan for 400? My brain isn't here for this today. My brain is in Salesforce land. It's okay though. I'll take it.
What country has the most coastline?
It's a tricky country, I think. What is?
I would think it'd be. I would think
like wiggles. It's wiggly.
I would think it'd be a big one.
Yeah, but it's like wiggly. What is
Wiggly.
I'm gonna go with what is Italy.
I'm gonna go with Australia.
Both are wrong. It's one that you wouldn't think of.
And
Nope.
Africa?
Nope.
No, it's a wiggly.
It's close by.
Greece?
Nope, close by.
I don't even know what that is. Africa?
Canada.
Is it Canada?
Oh, it's close.
because all the Wiggles.
I thought you were
'Cause the
saying
Wiggles.
close by to.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's the Wiggles.
okay. It's the
It's all
Wiggles.
the bays and the things.
And that was
All right,
Jeopardy.
all right, yeah, but what's
I'll get you the
more
final
importantly?
score.
What's the final score?
Can we do one, Max, that you read it off and we both Dan write it down? We write it down.
Yeah, if you
we do
want.
that?
I don't have one.
Okay.
Final Jeopardy.
You'll find one. How'd we do?
I don't know. We'll edit this part out so it makes it seem like it moved faster.
All right.
What's the score? Was I negative?
A lot.
Yeah.
All right. What was the score?
Dan had 200 at the end.
200.
200. Look at your number. I can't wait for your number.
And Chip had minus 800.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't good. That wasn't
All right.
good. Okay.
Max, well done.
Yeah, nice.
That was fun.
Nice
I like that.
categories.
Good job.
Those- I mean, boy, I didn't know many of those either. Just like regular Jeopardy, and that was pretty easy. So, anyway,
Used all your brain power.
my brain power is getting.
Cutting that stash yesterday.
I know. Well, those this morning.
All right, let's get to Jesse.
Okay, sounds good. All right, exit. Episode.
You don't need to reintroduce the episode.
I don't need to do the episode again?
Just,
Okay,
just
all right.
say hi.
So we got Jesse Winter on. Jesse is the president and CEO of Level Up Basketball. Our first, Dan, basketball guest, which is, I mean, we've said that we ran out of friends on the baseball and the football side, so we're diving into some of the basketball side.
Yeah, and I think we can talk to Jesse. We can get to know him first. He can get to know us.
That's right.
Before we maybe say something we probably shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works. So, Jesse, basketball question for you first, okay? And I know you want to go down this path.
Are we going to go right there?
No, well, I mean, you can. Yeah, let's go. Let's hit it. Let's hit it right at the start.
I thought you were going to
No, I'm not. I'm not going to.
I thought you were going to buy him dinner or something.
No,
first.
I'm not going to use it first. NBA or NCAA?
Oh,
what would you rather watch?
Come on.
I think you guys are expecting me to say one thing. I'm an NBA guy personally.
I was expecting you to say NBA just by the picture in the background.
You see me, that was me as a kid with an Allen Iverson jersey on. You see I had the headband on, my ears propped out. But yeah, I'm an NBA guy.
Okay, so you're an NBA guy. I would have said that you're an NCAA.
All right. Well, I mean, how would you? Is Iverson your guy?
I mean, I'm a 5'11" white kid with limited athleticism. So I like the little guys. I'm a point guard. So
Okay.
Iverson, I was a fan of. I'm more of a Steve Nash guy.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well,
we'll
you're
take
also SUNY Cortland's all-time leading scorer.
Yeah,
So
don't let him. Don't undercredit yourself.
No,
Right?
no.
That's a big deal.
Where did you grow up? Because why are you a Philadelphia Sixers fan in the first place?
That's pretty funny. So I'm from Long Island, New York. I'm from Nassau County, a town called Rockville Center. Grew up there, ended up I played at Southside High School in Rockville Center. I was an all Long Island basketball player for Southside High School. From there, I went to SUNY Cortland, where I was a 4-year player. Was getting some interest from Division II schools, but I was probably going to be like a backup, so I decided I want to go Division III, kind of be the guy. Walked into a starting role. One thing I look back on that I'm always impressed with is I played every single game in my college career, so I played 4 years, and I wasn't like an unbelievable scorer as the all-time leading scorer, but I was just consistent. So I played 4 years there, graduated, and then played a year of professional basketball. So back to your question, I liked Iverson because I like the small guys. I was always impressed with the undersized guys that always found a way, with Steve Nash, Allen Iverson, J.J. Barea, just these guys that, you watch, and even today you watch guys that you're like, wow, that guy's, he's making it even though he's a smaller guy. He's finding a way.
My guy all along, and I'm more of an NCAA guy, but definitely grew up watching the NBA too. And I'm 38, so I was trending out of the Jordan era.
38 with the mustache.
38. This is a new mustache today, just so you know. So trending out of the Jordan area and moving into, well, really LeBron, but there was a little bit of a gap there. Like when the Celtics weren't great with like Ron Mercer and everybody, and like Walter, like that was my team. I love that team. But I would say the person that I watched the most highlights of was probably Jason Williams. Mm-hmm. I could still just go back to my desk right now and watch like an hour of Jason Williams highlights of how he used to do the fake behind the back pass and then the layup and like all the crazy pass that he used to do. That was my guy to watch. So,
it's funny that It's funny you say that because there would be times before my high school games and my college games where I would actually just watch highlights of him because it got me feeling like I just had like a swagger to me where I'm like, I want to be like white chocolate today.
That's right. Yeah. Do the no look pass, all the alley oops, like all the stuff that he was doing. Absolutely.
Did you always watch those highlights? Was your pregame routine the same?
Yeah, it was either watching, it was highlights of these players. And then obviously, when I got good enough and I had highlights of myself, I would watch some of my own highlights. And I'd be like, all right, these are the type of plays. This is the type of rhythm that I have to try to be in today. And I would listen to, similar music just to get me in that groove and anything to get my confidence and my swagger up before a game. Cause I felt like if I was going in on a high, like I was going to have that confidence throughout the game. That was always important to me.
Got it. So you go from playing, you're a great player, a lot of points, like you said, super consistent. Did you jump right into level up? Like how'd this start? Like a lot of guys, when you get done playing,
you went to Israel first.
Oh no, that's after. We'll cover that.
Okay.
But like the level up thing, was that always what you knew you'd probably do next? Like coach basketball, run an organization, anything along those lines?
No idea, but I always knew as a player that I was like passionate about like the player development part of it, like just with myself. Like we're talking about watching these highlights. I'd watch a Jason Williams highlight or I'd watch a Steve Nash highlight and I'd be like, I want to go try that. I want to master that move. I want to get my footwork to be what he's doing and use my left hand in the way that they are at that angle. So it always caught my attention. So I had interest in it. I had no idea that it was going to be my career and that I was going to be coaching kids and running a business. That kind of happened on the fly.
I think that happens.
Did you ever think about going back to college as a coach, or trying to coach at levels, different levels?
I did, and I still do from time to time, but it's a grind. Look, what I'm doing is a grind right now. Don't get me wrong, but you're just on the road a lot. You have to work your way up from I have some friends in the industry that went from Division 3 to Division 3, and it's just taking them a while. And like I want to get going right away. I didn't want to wait. I wanted a different type of grind. I felt like I didn't want to take 10 years to get there, and I feel like a lot of times that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean Ed Cooley. We're in Rhode Island, so like PC's massive right now, right? And Ed Cooley was an assistant at BC for I think almost 10 years before he went to Fairfield.
He was there when I was there,
right?
And then he left and took the BC or Fairfield job, and then came back to BC. What 10?
Yeah, but that's
been there for a while.
It takes a while to get up to to a level where you're actually head coach and everything. For sure. So yeah, you're right. It takes a long time, especially. I mean, they're nasty now too. I don't know. I mean, we'll talk BC basketball in a little bit, but so then you went and played in Israel.
Yeah, I ended up playing. So I have I have Israeli citizenship. So I was over there. I played there for a year. That was a unique experience for me. I had cousins over there. Because I had citizenship, I was going over there as an Israeli and not an American, which was an advantage for me. I'll be honest. I'm 5'11". Me going up against 6'7", 6'8" American players that are high flying, playing at Division I level. I'm good, but if I'm in an Israeli team, I'm going to take that guy over me. That's just being honest. So I went there. I played 1 year. It was a tough transition for me. I went from being the guy at SUNY Cortland, where I'm the all-time leading scorer, everything is kind of clicking, to going to Israel, where you're going from being a big fish in a little sea to a little fish in a very big sea. So that was a tough transition for me. I did it for a year. I saw what was out there. I also saw what my potential was, like what I can get to, the amount of money that I could be making, what I could be doing. And I had friends back home that are, starting to make like real full-time money. And I'm like, I love basketball. I'm passionate about basketball. How much longer do I want to be doing this? So, I made the decision after a year that it was time to come back. It was a very tough decision for me because I felt like I was giving up my passion and my love. And when I got home, I was making that decision if I wanted to go back or not. I ended up getting a job on Madison Avenue. I was working in advertising for a pharmaceutical advertising company. And I ended up working in there for 3 years before I actually made the transition and going back home to running the business.
Yep. So when you're in Israel, how's basketball different when you're in a different area, right? Like, we kind of know how it is here. We watch the NCAA, we watch the NBA. You see how it is in some other countries because you see it like with the Olympics and everything. What was it like playing basketball there? Is it different? I mean, is there different offenses? Like, what's going on? Like,
they don't run motion over there.
Yeah, they run motion. Is it the flex? Like, how's it work?
It's a different world. You have to transition. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, it was a 35-second shot clock when I was playing in college. And then you go overseas and all of a sudden it's a 24-second shot clock. So I remember there was times I'm walking the ball up the floor, literally just walking the ball up the floor, trying to run a play. And my coach is screaming at me. He's like, "What are you doing? Push the ball." So it's kind of like it's an NBA game. I remember there was the practices were very unique. It was like they stress passing way more overseas than they do here. Like here is obvious, like NBA is a lot more one-on-one and getting the guy the ball and letting him go. Like passing is big over there. And, so that the guys overseas might not be more skilled, but as far as like IQ level, everybody's IQ is very, very high. Every player can shoot the ball. Everybody knows how to move the ball. Like there was some practices in Israel where we were playing soccer. We literally played soccer because soccer was stressing on how to move the ball. Or we'd play games where we would full court press, in practice, but you weren't allowed to dribble. So like I was exhausted. I have to guard the guy that I'm guarding full court, and my coach is screaming at me that I'm not pressuring the ball enough. I'm like, I'm exhausted. I can't. I'm running all over the court. So is it a different game? Yes, it is. And what I'll also say is it's very talented. People think like overseas basketball, oh, it's not the NBA. There's so many players in NCAA that are playing Division I, Division II, Division III basketball that are at a very high level. NBA is very hard to play in, as you guys know. Yeah. So like this is the level below. And I thought for myself, I'm gonna go to Israel. Like I have, Israeli citizenship. I'll be the guy out there. No, it's not like that. And I played in the second division, which there's 2 Americans on each team. And the 2 Americans that were on my team when I was out there, a guy played at Missouri and a guy played at Arizona State. And these guys are unbelievable players. So it just shows that even though you're not in the NBA, there's still a very high level of basketball outside of the leagues here.
Yeah, there's not really, for baseball, we have the minor leagues that are here, right? And we have people, we have tons of guys that come from Latin America that come in and play in the minor leagues here. This is where you play baseball. Now, in football, there's not really a minor leagues. You get college. College is the minor leagues almost, the football, right?
Yeah.
And that in basketball, though, I know they have the D League, or there was a D League. I can't remember what it's called now.
I think they still have the D League right now.
But really, those athletes are going overseas because you can make money there in different spots, right? So if you're a fringe guy, you're probably going to go play in Spain or something along those lines. And I don't know if they really act as a minor leagues anymore, as if they act as just you're playing in a different part of the world and making good money there.
Right. It's actually, so it's not the D League anymore. It's the G League.
G League. That's right. Yeah. Change the name.
It's the G League. And what happens a lot of time is players are playing in the G League because they want an opportunity to go overseas. Because if you have good highlights in the G League, you can go overseas and you could probably get more money. So I've had friends that played in the G League, had some really nice stats, had some nice game film and highlights, and that helps them get paid overseas. Like the guys that are really staying in the G League are the guys that are really doing their best to get a shot in the NBA. Got
it. So talk to us about Level Up now, because when I got done playing baseball, I went into doing tons of lessons, coaching some select teams. I knew that I probably needed to get a little bit more on the business side of baseball, like what we do now, like with Squad Locker and everything, rather than stay in the, hey, I'm going to catch a bullpen tonight. That type of world. It was different, even though there's great money in that and you can run these travel and select teams. It was different. I wanted to probably not go to East Cobb on the weekends and play golf on the weekends instead and work during the week. With what you're doing now, how did it, you got done playing, you mentioned that you went and you did something different first, and then you came back to your sport. What's the difference there? I mean, Madison Avenue, you're probably working pretty late nights anyway, like kind of grinding through that. But now you're really, your weekends are probably stacked up. Tournaments, travel, bringing your team everywhere. Talk to us about Level Up and like how that's changed and what you're doing there for everyone.
Yeah, so just to jump back, so when I was working in advertising, I was in project management and I was in account management, and I was doing some training on the side. So I'm from Long Island, the 40-minute train ride into New York City. There was people that I was in touch with, when I was home, and at the first year when I was working in the city, I was doing some training on the side. So when I went there was still some training that I was doing, not too much, just because I thought I was moving on to the next stage of my life, which is hopefully making a career in marketing. And, the fortunate thing for me is, I always joke with my dad, is that me being in 3 years in advertising was like graduate school for me, because I learned I learned about business. I learned about, budgeting. I learned about social media. I learned the full aspect. If I didn't have those 3 years working in that industry, I would have been clueless. Just even how to write an email, just like how to deal with clients, like that stuff went a huge way for me. So when I jumped from that job, I jumped into, running Level Up at like 26. So it wasn't like I was fresh out of college. It was, I had a year or two underneath me, and, I thought that was big for me. So what I was doing is I was working the 5 days a week in Manhattan at crazy hours, like you mentioned, and working on pitches and doing all this. And then what I would do is I was going back to Long Island on the weekends, and I was staying at my parents' house. So I was actually working 7 days a week. And what ended up happening, the kids that I was training, they were like, we really want you to run teams. And I'm like, I can't run teams. I'm in the city now. I'm on to bigger things, what I thought was bigger and better things. And I was like, I can't do it. And they're like, come on, do it for us. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going back to Long Island on the weekends anyway. So what I was doing is I ran a tryout of like 30 kids, third grade, and I ended up taking 2 teams of 10. And what I was doing is I was going back on the weekends running. They accommodated my schedule. I was doing practices, back-to-back practices on Saturday, doing games on Sunday, and then coming back to the city to work, my full-time job. So all of a sudden I'm working 7 days a week. And then what's happening is the kids on my team that I'm coaching, all of them want skills training. So now I'm going from just doing a couple hours on Saturday and Sunday to all of a sudden I have pretty much, I don't want to say both teams, but I'm training 12 kids on the side. So now all of a sudden before my games, I'm doing training, and I'm coming back to the city after the weekend of like, I'm making good money here. And I'm like, eventually I did the math. I'm like, man, if I do this at like, at a broader rate, I could probably make more money doing this. And basketball is more interest to me than working in pharma advertising. So that was kind of like the trigger for me.
Third grade's young too. Third grade, so I would assume that you were going to say 8th grade, 9th grade travel started you, right? And I don't know, third grade's young though. You started them, that's an early group.
Yeah, and I said to you, I'm big on player development. So, look, everybody wants to coach the older teams. Everybody.
Yeah, that's what I would think, right? Somebody springs up a team, and it's U15, right? And then it dismantles after a year. You started earlier for sure. Third grade is early.
Fun part about getting a kid when they're in third grade is you're teaching them the fundamentals. You see a kid the proper fundamentals on a jump shot or the proper fundamentals on a move, and you're seeing them do that in a game. It's yeah, I taught them that. You get a kid in 8th grade, 9th grade, they've already been through 15 coaches at that point. Yes, you could help them, but what you're getting them in third grade, that's what I take pride in with Level Up. We start our boys in 2nd grade. So I'm trying to literally get them in the beginning, and we want to get them from the ground up and teach them the fundamentals and the basics at a really young age. So I actually didn't mind it. And to me, I think that's one thing that makes me unique as a coach. And I'm not saying I'm the only one that could do this. I'm cool coaching any age. As long as you want to be there and you're passionate, and you guys are, you guys have coached before. If the kid is into it and they love doing it, I don't care what age it is. If now on the other end, if it's a 3rd grade kid that I'm babysitting, I don't want to do that. And I'll tell the kids that I'm not here to babysit you. I'm here to actually help you be, serious basketball players, even if it is starting at that age.
Where did you find that first class, if you will? Was it friends of family, friends of friends? Hey, come back and I want you to work, or was it just strictly hey, just got done with the pros. I know you're you had success. Can you teach my boys?
So one thing I didn't tell you about my journey is before I was going to Israel, I actually tore my ACL 3 weeks before I was supposed to go. So I did a year at home, and that year at home, I was actually working for another basketball program, a local program, which we're actually competitors with now, I'll say it. And when I was working for them, I was coaching kids for this program, and those kids wanted me. So that's kind of how I got my foot in the door. And I'm from Long Island. I know the basketball landscape of Long Island because I'm born and raised here. So me coming back, I already had my foot in the door. It's not like I was coming into a new state or a new county where it's hey, I'm a new guy. This was my resume. People already knew about me to a certain extent already.
So where has it grown to now? And take us through a little bit of that path. You start with 2 third grade teams. You got 30 kids, 25 kids, whatever it is, right? And you're a business guy, so you studied business, you went into the business world some. It's not easy to grow things and maintain them and keep them, right? There's probably the other 9 people that started when you did all failed. There's probably one of them that continued, right? So where did it go after the 2 teams?
So it went from 2 teams to all of a sudden the grade below being like, wow, what are you guys doing? Like, what are you doing? And they're like, well, you got to get this coach. This coach is doing a really good job. Like, he's really passionate about it. He's doing a good job. Like, he has a good understanding of it. So all of a sudden, the year below, them wanting to get involved. So all of a sudden, I'm running another tryout the next year of the same thing, like 30 kids. And this is not my full-time job. I'm doing this on the side. So I already have 2 teams. From one season to the next, it grows from 2 to 5 teams, and then all of a sudden, I'm not talking year to year. I'm talking from like winter to spring.
Right. Yep.
From 5 to 10 teams. Now all of a sudden, I have a 10-team program, and I'm working a full-time job in the city. How am I doing both?
Yeah.
So it got to a point where it's like I can't do this anymore. So now we're 5 years in, and we have 40 teams. So we've made a jump. We've got some great momentum from year to year, but yeah, it's definitely come faster than I would have ever imagined. And now, like, we're at the point where we had tryouts this past weekend for our spring season, and we had new players trying out only. We had 300 kids that just came to the tryouts. So it's like, now I'm turning kids away just because I don't want to take on 100 teams. It's too much. So I want to get to the level where it's like just a higher level of basketball. And, fortunately, we're at that point where I can start to be a little bit more picky with our players and our teams.
Yeah, we have, at Squad Locker here on the uniform side of our business, this is a thing that we do within it, right? The Past Our Prime show. But we have 20 salespeople, right? And they're talking to teams and organizations all over the country, all the time in all sports. And there is a tipping point, exactly what you're saying, of when they want to stop doing everything else except for coach, right? Where they're like, I can't manage 100 athletes, right? Or I have to have somebody help me with travel, somebody help me with uniforms, somebody help me with booking facilities, like all that type of stuff. We usually see it come in, and we do tons with diamond sports, baseball, softball. It's like when they hit 5 or 7 teams, they're like, this is getting to be a little bit too much for me to try to manage. So I hear you. I know where you're at with, you got to turn kids away eventually, unless you want to take it to another whole level where you add layers of management into like your business. You have, full-time person that's in charge of like, the law aspect of it and the travel and all the pieces. So would you, so how many total kids right now are in the program? 40 teams, so
40 teams,
500?
like 10 to 11 kids per team.
Yep.
But we also offer clinics. We offer training. So, it's anywhere to like around like the 500 to 1,000, just based off of all of that we have going on.
How do you guys measure success, right? I mean, obviously, younger ages, right? It's all about the fun and introducing them to the sport and them learning the basic fundamentals and palling around with their buddies or whatever. And I don't know how competitive that 3rd grade team is or whatever. But how do you measure it as a CEO?
I measure it where, I look at helping the kids reach their full potential. To me, that's the most important part to me. I mean, yeah, I can look at it from year to year that we're growing and we have more teams. But now, like you said, I'm at the point where I'm trying to even out. I'm not trying to continue to add teams. So it's a good sign for us when we have players coming back and, thanking us and putting up posts of their experience with Level Up. So I just think it's helping players reach their full potential. And that full potential for some players is going to be college basketball. And there's going to be some kids, their full potential is going to be high school varsity or middle school basketball. To me, I know we're doing a good job when parents are reaching out to me and sending thank you texts of like, whether it's me or it's one of my coaches that are doing a phenomenal job of just like, you're the reason why they made that team. So to me, it's kind of the little wins. It's not necessarily the big picture that I'm looking at. There's a million ways that you could measure success, but I think those little wins are most important to me in the program.
Now, I know where Dan and I stand on this, and we'll see where you stand on this. So with basketball, right, they're playing basketball. Do you encourage these kids to play other sports? Are you saying, and did you, first of all, like, did you play other sports growing up? And then are you saying, hey, yeah, you like to play baseball too, play that in the summer, come back to this, especially at the young ages, to develop other skills. Like, where do you stand on that?
So I was a 3-sport varsity athlete. I played basketball, baseball, and soccer. And I also played travel baseball and travel soccer. But the difference nowadays is that travel sports are becoming a year-round thing. So when I was doing
There's no season to them.
Right. It was season. It was seasonal when I was doing it. So the answer is it's tough. Like from the business side, of course, I want the kid to be focusing on basketball only. But I look back to my career and my journey, like the kids should be playing other sports. And I encourage the kids to be playing other sports. Of course, I don't want it to conflict. It makes scheduling a nightmare for me, but they should be playing other sports. And I'll tell you one thing from me, since I was an all-county soccer player in high school, my soccer skills growing up, that made me a better basketball player.
Right.
Well, part of basketball is footwork. And Steve Nash, like I talked about before, he's a big footwork guy, and he got that from playing soccer. So, you know, from a business side, of course, I want them to be focusing on basketball only and always. But in the same time, like if a kid is playing other sports, I encourage it. I don't turn it away.
Yeah, I've always looked at it as in, you know, especially when they're, you know, second, third grade, like you're saying. You see these kids that, and this was even happening like when I was going through, where all of a sudden a kid was like fall in love with baseball and only played baseball, right? Or only played football and baseball and like stopped playing basketball. Now all of a sudden they actually grow, and now they're 6'6", 6'7", but have no idea how to shoot a jump shot. And it's like, too bad, right? Like, never know. Like, now the kid put a body on and would have been an amazing, you know, like small forward, right? But, like, doesn't know how to dribble. And I think that's the same way with, like, baseball. I think that's the same way with other sports. It's like, if they're only in the gym shooting jump shots, man, this kid's got an electric arm, but, like, has no clue how to, like, you know, any mechanics. If they just had a little bit all the way through, maybe they become a better star in one of these other sports, right?
Well, I mean, I get what you're saying for the kids and as a business owner, I really do. But so we're saying basketball is like a winter sport. Is that your main season? Because if, like, I'm just saying, if the kid wanted to play baseball in the spring, do you make some of those seasons or seasonalities of the sport optional? Not optional to the sense like, hey, you can't come and go whenever you want, but if there's a conflict, we'll work around it with you.
It's funny because you're asking this, probably that question being asked probably more appropriate for this time than ever, just because we had our spring tryouts, like I said, this past weekend, and we're in that middle stage. We do a fall and winter season where we do that together. And a lot of parents, especially when they're new to basketball, they think travel basketball is just during basketball season. So we do fall and winter, but also spring and summer is important, especially as you get to an older age. If you're trying to play college basketball, the exposure that you're getting is going to be in that spring and summer time, because that's where those exposure tournaments that you're playing in, you're not getting exposure. There's also no winter schedule for high school teams. So it really is a year-round thing. But like when you get into the spring season, trust me, when I'm doing these schedules, especially at the younger ages, these kids are playing basketball, they're playing baseball, they're playing lacrosse, they're playing flag football. Like there's just so much stuff going on that you have to let the parents figure it out. And more importantly, you have to let the kids figure it out. I think for me, as an athlete, I played 3 sports, but I always prioritized basketball. Basketball was a thing, and I was upfront with the coaches. Like, listen, I'm playing these sports if there ever was a conflict, but if it was a basketball or soccer conflict, I'm choosing basketball. That's the direction I wanted to go in.
And I was 3 sports like you, and my 3rd sport was soccer. So, you know, Dan's was football.
I'm just not a soccer fan.
I will tell you, with soccer,
not a soccer fan.
We had a lot of athletes in our school. And I don't think any of us liked soccer, but we needed something to play in the fall. We didn't have football. So, like, soccer practice would get over and we'd go hit BP on the baseball field. But I tell you what, when it was baseball season, none of us went to go kick the soccer ball on the soccer field after.
What about when you were in high school? And I know when I grew up outside of Allentown, Pennsylvania. The Sixers, absolutely hate them. But it was AAU back then, right? It wasn't these showcase tournaments, and it's probably still AAU for basketball is my guess. And if it's not, correct me. But it didn't seem like these tournaments were as big as they are now.
So it's still AAU. You know what it is they were always big, but social media is just making everything look even bigger than it is. Because
it looks huge, like on some of these Instagram, you know, I just look even the Rhode Island one, like Ball in RI or something. I'm always like, man, people must think that Rhode Island basketball is massive. You know, it's by the
way, it's April. Nobody's playing out in the street right now.
So it's AAU, and then you said social media has been blowing it up, right?
Blowing it up because you can't get away from it. Like, even like my teams, we have a certain amount of tournaments, but every time I look down at my phone, it's like, oh, there's another tournament this weekend, and then you have these tournaments promoting the tournaments, and now they're big on footage, so they're getting highlights and footage of these kids at these tournaments, and you know that this kid's getting this exposure, this kid's top 10 in the country. Difference is now if a kid is like top 50 or top 10 in the country, you're seeing a highlight video of that kid in front of your face. So everybody's just they want to be part of it. So there's just I think it's kind of stayed the same, but now it's like you see it because it's at your fingertips and you know exactly what's going on.
Then also when I think of where your team was, right? Like I mean, I always was playing for my high school. It was like the number one thing that I wanted to do, right? And I played AAU all the way through to Capital Hornets. We were pretty good.
Go.
So many comments right now, Jesse. I'm just looking at the mustache and just like dazing off.
Yeah, I didn't score. We did put a poll up this weekend of who between the two of us would you have thought scored close to 1,000 points. Wasn't you? It
wasn't me.
Yeah, it was me. It was 50-50 on the vote,
Jesse,
though, and I was like, this is embarrassing.
I was the rebounder and the assist guy. I'll tell you what, me and my buddy had I would say, I mean, our high-low game between me and my buddy was phenomenal.
I can see that happening. I can see that happening. You'd be the like top.
I'm
guy,
at the point.
The small dish down to your buddy.
Yeah.
When he misses, you rebound it and like rebound and then miss so you can get another rebound.
Yeah, on purpose.
I used to love when football guys would play because the football guys are always rebounding everything. They're bringing toughness. Personally, I'm a little bit of a trash talker, probably more than I should at my height and my size, but I always had the football guy that had my back. It was that. Yeah. And the other thing is they set the best screens. And I'm a guy that I work well coming off of ball screens as a point guard. So those big guys, then when they're setting screens, they're tough to fight around. So I always appreciated playing with those football guys.
That's a vote for me. That's a vote for me. That breaks the tie.
We were 50-50, by the way. It was like 40-40 on the vote.
Did you vote?
I did. We both voted. We should have pushed that to you, Jesse, so you could have voted for us.
You didn't ask me what those guys' jump shots look like, though.
No, they weren't pretty. Mine wasn't bad. I had a decent stroke from outside.
We'll film it. We'll film.
Okay.
So three-point contest.
Back to my. Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh yeah, here. You're getting. I mean, you're not as old as us, but I did a 3-point contest with a neighbor of mine, Paul. Mm-hmm. I swear to God, I couldn't move. I couldn't move my elbow for a week. It hurt. I couldn't extend it. I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, I mean, I've been through this too, man. Like, so I had Tommy John playing baseball, and when I came back, and before that, I used to play hoop quite a bit, even through like college and even through pro ball, like where I'd get outside and like knock it down. I couldn't shoot for shit because my hyperextension like wasn't there anymore. I'd like feel my elbow go like click, or at the end I'd be like just throwing lasers off the backboard. I still can't shoot.
Sucks. Don't get old, Jesse.
Yeah, it hurts.
Well, that's me when I'm throwing a baseball now. I feel like if I have like a long toss with my friends, like if I do that once in a while, like that, I feel the same pain the next day. I wake up, I'm like, why is my arm in such pain?
That's how it works. And so what I was getting to on that question initially, before we got sidetracked by Dan and I, was. Are kids still really trying to represent their school more, or are they trying to represent these programs, like yours? I mean, for me, it was always like the school. Like you did everything to play on like the high school team. It feels like it's different now, I'm not sure.
I think it's a mixture of both. I think it's also the caliber of team you're on. Look, we have 40 teams in the program. I'd be lying to you if I said to you that every single team is perfect and every single kid on every single team is walking around and the happiest kid. It's not. Yep. That's not how it goes. But we like the teams that are excelling with these higher level players. They are promoting it. Like they are promoting it on social media. They're wearing the gear everywhere. And I think it's the same thing goes for high school sports or whatever it is. Where if you're in a good situation at the school and you're taking pride in the school that you're playing for, of course you're going to represent it. So I think it's a mixture of both. Probably more AAU now than it's ever been, just because I think there's more AAU programs, and I think it's more prevalent than it was in the past.
Yeah, and basketball, we were just talking about this before. 37 or 38 million kids, youth sports. That's the number that are playing basketball. It beats everybody by far. It crushes. And a lot of people look at like baseball, diamond sports as being the one that probably has the most amount of athletes. It's basketball by 10 million. Like baseball, softball is like 25, 26 million. So kids play, and I think it's because you can grab a pair of sneakers, you can grab a ball, and there's a court in a lot of spots. Where if you want to get on the ice and you're playing hockey, that's a different beast. So that's where basketball, I think, like you said, you've got 400 or 500 kids, 1,000 if you're doing camps and everything. I mean, your growth potential is unlimited, but you probably want to try to keep it to a certain number is what I'm guessing. But there's so many kids playing, and I'm sure there's a competitor a door down from you that probably has 500 kids too, right?
They do, and nowadays there's not just one, there's 2 or 3.
Right,
so
right.
If a kid wants to try something else, they go to that other program, and it's always going to be like that. I think with what you're saying about the amount of kids that there's such a high interest in kids playing basketball that more than one program could excel and
absolutely
do a certain area. It doesn't just have to be like Level Up is controlling New York basketball. No, I don't think it'll ever be like that, just because there's always going to be other programs with strong teams. So it's like we focus on ourselves, and we try not to worry about what the other competition is doing. And I think that's why we've had success, because we focus on our product and keeping it consistent, and just bringing strong coaches and focusing on player development. That's why we've done well. But of course, there's going to be competitors, and I think that makes us better. The fact that competitors are strong.
2 questions.
Go.
First, who's the best player that you've gone against? Maybe we know him, maybe we don't. Second question, have you made the 3rd grade team practice with a soccer ball yet?
So I was playing not in like a formal game, but I'm fortunate enough to play in a pickup run. It stopped because of COVID. New York Athletic Club in New York City, which is like an invite only, like special run. And I was playing NBA guys over there. So I got to say the coolest matchup that I had was Donovan Mitchell from the Utah Jazz. So I matched up with him, a couple of other NBA players, and we talk about the different levels. You get to really see of what not only just a professional basketball player, but I mean he's a NBA All-Star. So seeing what that level looks like. So that's the first part of the question. The second part of the question is I haven't had a 3rd grade team using soccer balls yet. But I have done where you can't dribble. You just have to pass the ball. Through, because I think everybody they just want to dribble the ball. But yeah, soccer, I'll leave that to the soccer coaches for now.
Where's your first class? You call it a class. I like that. Your first class, what age group are they right now?
So we start our teams for boys in 2nd grade. We start our teams for girls in 4th grade. But I tell you what, it gets earlier and earlier. Like I said, we started in 3rd grade. Now we're moving down to 2nd grade. And you wouldn't believe how many people in 1st grade want teams. And there's not leagues for it yet. At least at the travel level. So 2nd grade boys is the earliest that we start.
I'm wondering, though, about that first team that you had, the 3rd graders that you had that first year you started it. What age group are they at now? Are they in 8th grade? Like, how long have you been doing it? Like, how old are they?
Exactly. So they're in 8th grade now. So that's the fun part for me, is I'm getting to see, like, the full process of how this all works and how things net out. Now I can use specific kids or specific teams and compare it to new teams that are coming through the program.
Now, are you going up to older age groups? Do you already have teams that are up higher that just started later? Or are you going into 17U, 18U?
So we go all the way through high school. And look, in a perfect world, we're getting all the kids in 2nd grade and we're keeping them all.
Yeah, and they go through the whole thing. Yeah. Doesn't happen, but
doesn't always work like that. But what happens is sometimes you get kids that come in 7th grade or 8th grade, and you mix and match them. And sometimes you have these strong teams, and then you add on a kid in 7th grade, and now all of a sudden this team gets stronger. And then you move one kid or 2 kids around. So it's a big puzzle piece, and you're just trying to find the best fit for teams. Like that's something, like I'm like a GM across the board. It's not only putting 10 kids on a team. I also have to worry about, like, this team needs a big guy. This team needs somebody that's a slasher. This team needs a point guard. Like, you have to look at more just of like, all right, I'm putting 10 kids on a team. This team is pretty good. So I'm playing GM across the whole board, which I enjoy. I don't play fantasy basketball anymore. Doing fantasy sports with
You're
these
doing
kids.
it. That's right. Yeah.
So what about coaches? Are you physically coaching a team, or, I mean, obviously you have other coaches doing it, but do you have a group that you coach always? What age group? And like you've got to set basically the curriculum and what they're teaching. So these coaches got to follow your lead.
Right. So I love coaching. I don't want to give it up yet. I'm coaching 4 teams currently, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. I'll coach whatever the program needs me to. I'll do whatever. And that's what like I said before, I don't mind if it's a 2nd grade team or if it's a high school team. I just want the kids to get the best experience that they can. One thing, Level Up takes pride in our program. And look, everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. I think one of our our selling points is that all of our coaches played college basketball. So, it's not, I'm big on not having parent coaches, not saying that parents can't coach. My dad coached me growing up, and he did not play college basketball. Very knowledgeable. He helped me all the way through, but there's politics that go into it, and that's the part of it.
Politics.
We can talk about the parent thing.
Oh God, let's not talk about that.
That's where I try to stay very, very far away from. But we have all young coaches that are passionate about it, offer a fresh perspective, and are motivating the kids. And I try to I have meetings with my coaches where I try to give them feedback on how they should be handling specific teams, and at the younger ages, what I recommend them doing. But at the same time, I let my coaches, I give them the freedom. I don't want to, I'm not the end all be all coach. I know a thing or two. I've done well, but I let them have the freedom to coach the teams, that see fit as well.
All right. I have 2 basketball questions, and then I'm good. You good?
I'm good.
Okay. Man-to-man or zone on defense?
Oof, I'm personally, and I think a lot of people would be upset at me if I said this, but I'm a zone guy.
And like a 2-3, like get big, like Syracuse.
Like a matchup?
Yeah, we played matchup zone in college. We were 30 minutes away from Syracuse, so Syracuse is big on the 2-3 zone and the matchup zone. And I think if you have a zone defense that's communicating well and you're contesting hard jump shots, I feel like it's hard to score on that. I mean, a lot of AU programs would hate me for saying that, but listen, I've had success for doing it. I'm a zone press into a zone half court. That's just me.
You beat that though with the big man playing up on the top of the key and me on the wing, because that's an inside out game all day.
I was bringing the ball up in high school too.
I was gonna say it's an inside out game. Do you and I? We'll come down there. We'll work them out.
My days of playing hoop or running. Done.
We don't want to do anything to damage.
There's going to be a knee laying on knee or an Achilles laying on the floor.
It's more of an Achilles thing, absolutely. Okay, so on the offense, now I've been watching it all year and it frustrates me. So I'm a PC basketball fan. Go to a lot of games, and they're
you just
great
became one by the way this year.
You're so full of shit.
You just became one.
I've been a PC fan.
You never mentioned PC basically on the podcast.
I went
unless
to
for
like
2 weeks.
6 games last year. Like, I go to the games. I like to watch PC basketball.
Never said anything, did he, Max?
Anyway.
Never.
Yeah, because it hasn't been basketball season.
Yeah, okay.
So, they're great this year. Got a good team. Number 8 in the country right now.
Number 9.
Well, 8-9 associated.
You don't even know what rank they are.
No, it's press and coaches. 2 polls.
You don't even know it.
So,
the 9 is what counts.
I go with the 8. So, anyway, you're right. The 9 does count. But, anyway, so, they've been running this flex offense. I can't stand it. I hate it. Like, I just want to see I just want to see motion offense with some screens away from the ball and like some stuff like that.
And they're not 20 feet away, or I don't even know how far the 3-point is. 20 feet from 5 seconds left on the shot clock.
That's the problem with the flex offense. You tell us. It feels like they wind it down to like 4 seconds and it's like a panic attack and just throw the ball up. Why do people run this?
It's a continuity offense, and the thing that I'm not a big fan of it personally is I just feel like sometimes you turn too robotic, and I think you just got to let the players play. It works. Mm-hmm. It's been working for years. There's a reason why they still use it, but I'm not a fan of it because I want to just play. I think that's what the best part of basketball is. Like, for me as a coach, you're talking about on the offensive side, I just want the kids to get out and just push the ball in transition. Yeah. Try to get easy baskets, move the ball, play well without the ball. And then if you're not scoring out of transition, then if you want to run a set. And these colleges, they need sets. I'm personally not a big fan of the flex offense.
I don't like it because there's no penetration in it. And then all of a sudden, the game gets down to the end. Like, I've been watching this all year. And, like, you got Durham and you got the other guy, Bynum. They start penetrating, finally, and all of a sudden, the game's over. Like, because they go to the rack hard, they dish it off.
I just want to see a backdoor cut. That's all I want.
You won't see one in the flex. You won't see it. You won't see it.
Just a little bit of fundamentals, a little bit of a set.
I'm in a ban the flex mode right now because I haven't seen a pick in a long time.
Speaking of it, so NBA, just back to the NBA, was it better back in the 80s, 90s, or is it better? Definitely not a knock on the athletes, because the athletes are phenomenal.
The athleticism is crazy.
It's phenomenal, and these guys are phenomenal. But as a game as a whole,
I think nowadays players are doing stuff that they've never done before. So I just think the game has evolved. I think you talk about the 70s, 80s, and 90s all the way through today. Like, basketball has always been great. It's been great, but it was what the players knew at that certain time. For me, I probably would have played in the NBA in the 60s because I'm a 5'11", very skilled guy. Is that the way that basketball is supposed to be played? I don't know.
Yeah. I would think a little bit of defense would be the way to go.
No,
You might want to play a little bit of defense.
Yeah.
If there's defense involved, then I probably wouldn't get the look because I'm more of an offensive guy.
You seem a little bit more like a slap the floor Wojo guy. Is that?
I'm not flexible, so I have problems touching the floor in the first place.
Got it.
I'm more of a team defense guy. That's what I like to say. I talk well on defense, but yeah, I'm an offensive guy.
It's all about communication.
Team defense.
It's all about communication.
So I'm an old school basketball guy. The new basketball is pretty cool to watch, like the Steph Currys, the shooters. I call this is like the shooting age and everything. But I really do like, Larry Bird.
I like people fighting.
Yeah, like just really getting bodied. Like you can't get to the rim.
If they score a basket on them, they get angry. You don't see that nowadays. It's just it's a new game. They're very athletic. They're very good at what they do. I just don't see the passion that those guys had before.
You know what I haven't heard a lot? A term. It used to be, and this is a term when I was playing all the time. It was like hand checks, like all over the place. That was like the thing. I haven't heard that come up in a long time. People still hand check.
It's not as physical as it used to be.
It's a foul, right? That's a foul now.
Right.
That used to just be like defense.
It was more physical, and I'm a New York Knicks guy, so like
Oakley.
Charles Oakley's like. Yeah. There's not as much of that anymore, and I just think that's the game evolving. The game has evolved, but the reffing has evolved too. Like the moves that people are doing nowadays, if these same moves were done in the 60s and 70s, they'd be violations. They'd be travels.
I call travel 100 times a game.
My God.
When I'm watching the NBA, I call travel 100. I'm up a lot of times to just travel. Like, literally, when they just walk the ball up the court sometimes, it take like 4 steps before the dribble. I'm like, that's a travel. Call it.
They don't.
Yeah, they don't call it.
What are you going to do?
How do we find Level Up?
How do we find Level Up? We're big on social media, Level Up _LI. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. One thing that I'm proud of is our TikTok. One of our TikToks just went viral, so you guys should check it out.
We will.
Yeah.
We had a third grader. It's pretty cool. We had a third grade kid hit a buzzer beater where the ball literally did the Kawhi Leonard. The ball hit the front rim, the back rim. It bounced in, and as he was doing that, he was squatting in the corner. And we got a pretty cool video. It has millions of views, so that's pretty cool. So you can find us on social media. We have a website, levelupli.com as well.
Max will put up we'll put this up in the post when we put it up. Throw up that video.
Maybe he'll get us some followers too.
Yeah. You want to help us out? We're not big social media guys. We just come in here once a week and talk
Jeopardy.
for an hour. Your episode is the beginning of your episode. There is a round of Jeopardy to start it. So just be prepared to fast forward 15 minutes and then you'll be good. All right.
I love it.
All right, Jesse. Hey, good talking to you.
Man. Thank
Go
you.
find
Keep up the good work.
Level Up. Keep going. Keep coaching the youth, man.
Appreciate you guys having me. Thanks again.
Well, later. See you.
Past Our Prime is brought to you by Squad Locker. Squad Locker is your one-stop shop for custom team apparel, delivered right to your front door. Learn more by visiting squadlocker.com.